is Michael Meacher, Labour MP for Oldham and former Minister of State for Environment. He's one of our most staunch supporters and has been with us since the beginning, and we really value him here today.
Fantastic to see so many of you. And let me just say this, that don't let them get them down. Don't let them get you down now that Cancun is well underway, because they're saying that Copenhagen failed, because they say there's a loss of momentum because of the emails from East Anglia. They're wrong on all counts. The truth is very different. Copenhagen didn't fail. It produced important political accords which have reduced carbon emissions, but nowhere near enough. And as for momentum, it isn't the momentum of politicians or even public opinion that counts. It's the momentum of climate change, and that is absolutely relentless, and it isn't going to wait around for politicians while they dither and delay. And as for those emails, we know perfectly well it didn't change a jot of the climate change arguments, and the fundamentals of climate change theory are 100% intact. So don't let the bastards get you down. The fact is, we've had it's big demonstrations like this, it's public pressure, it's the climate camps, it's powerful media messages that drive the politicians, drive impact on Parliament. That's what really counts. And we've had plenty of successes already. Stopping the Kingsnorth coal-fired power station. Very important. Maintaining the Vestas occupation for a very long time. Stopping the third runway at Heathrow, which is incredibly important. And getting the politicians to bring in the 5-year climate change budgets, which ought to get Britain on a path down to an 80% reduction by 2050. So on top of that, what we're arguing for today is a zero carbon Britain. And we're telling the government how that's to be produced. And the first thing is a big investment program in the creation of green jobs to make a green economy the way out of recession. Not handing billions more to the bankers, but taking back billions from the bankers. Not to spend on obscene bonuses, but on the creation of green jobs. And I say this, if this government can suddenly pull out of a hat £7 billion in order to bail out the Irish banks, then they can certainly afford £7 billion for the creation of green jobs. Now the government have said that they're going to introduce a green investment bank. Well, bully for them. But what they're proposing to put into it is just up to £1 billion. And that is nowhere near as pathetically inadequate if we're going to lever in the tens or even hundreds of billions of extra cash in order to kickstart the low carbon or zero carbon revolution. So yes, we want a green investment bank, but it's got to be properly financed. And the government has shown that they can do it if they really have a will to do so. Thirdly, the government has got to get tough with the coal industry, who are far and away the dirtiest of the fossil fuel operators, and get down those fossil fuel emissions. And the best way to do that, of course, is to have a much stronger environmental performance standard. Now, very interesting, Cameron said before the election that that's exactly what he would do. But that was then. You remember he flew off to the Arctic in his salopettes for a photo shoot on a dog sleigh? Well, that's when he said it. But now, of course, with the coal industry putting pressure on him, he's backed off. Surprise, surprise. Well, we say to Cameron, he's got to take action with regard to the coal industry. He's got to end all coal-fired power stations which do not have full-scale carbon capture and storage. And while we're at it, we've got to phase out in this country UK domestic air flights. Very important, because of growing airline emissions, and replace it by high-speed rail. And the fourth thing is that I think we've got to switch, obviously, to job-creating renewable sources of energy. We probably have in this country, in these islands, more wind power capacity than the whole of Europe put together. But how much are we using? A miserable 5% of our electricity is generated from renewable sources of energy. And if Germany and France can generate 15% of their electricity from renewables and Scandinavia 40%, then we can certainly generate at least 20% by 2020. And that is a demand that we're making today. Now, all of this is going to cost money. What about a Tobin tax on financial speculation? That would stop a lot of speculation that nearly destroyed the economy. It would readily bring in something of the order of 20-30 billion pounds a year. And why, while we're at it, don't we have a 70% tax on those colossal bonuses? The fact is the bankers pillaged and destroyed the economy. What we're demanding today, standing outside Parliament, is an economy which is sustainable. And that means a zero-carbon Britain. All power to Elbow.